There's something deeply comforting about watching your bank account get topped up every 2 weeks. That regular deposit, arriving like clockwork, offers a sense of control in a world full of uncertainties. You begin to shape your life around it. The rent, the groceries, the occasional night out or vacation. For many, it's the symbol of stability. But what if that sense of stability is actually a carefully veiled illusion? What if the thing you depend on most is the most fragile part of your financial world? It's an unsettling thought, but it's also one we need to face head on. You probably know someone who gave everything to their profession. They showed up early, left late, skipped holidays, and turned down better-paying opportunities because they believe in the promise of being taken care of in return. Maybe it was your old neighbor, that loyal assistant manager at a local store. Maybe it was your uncle who worked IT for 18 years before the company downsized. The pattern is familiar. These folks put their faith in consistency, thinking that being reliable meant they were irreplaceable. But then came the meeting, or worse, the email. No thank you, no gold watch, just a short note that their services were no longer needed. And just like that, their world shifted. The certainty of a paycheck evaporated. The benefits vanished. They weren't bad at their jobs. It didn't mess up. Their performance wasn't even questioned. It was a simple decision made in a boardroom far away. A decision designed to keep the organization lean and profitable. The person who once felt essential became a line item cut to balance a budget. This isn't just a one-off tragedy. It's a routine occurrence. Thousands of people face it every day. And it's not always a dramatic layoff. Sometimes it's a slow fade. Hours get trimmed. Promotions stall. Raises stop coming. One day, you realize you're working harder but earning the same or less. And yet you stay, because that direct deposit still hits for now. Let's get one thing straight. Corporations exist to generate profit. It's not about loyalty. It's not about how many birthdays you've celebrated in the break room or how many times you've worked through lunch. It's about margins, shareholders, and strategy. Even the nicest boss in the world won't jeopardize the business for your sake. When push comes to shove, your role will be scrutinized, not your dedication. And that's the core problem. We've been taught to see our jobs as long-term guarantees when they're actually short-term agreements. The truth is, no matter how much time you invest, you're just one leadership decision away from being phased out. Let's consider a scenario. Picture someone in their mid-40s. Let's call him Marcus. He's worked at the same logistics firm for almost 20 years. Started as a warehouse clerk and slowly moved up the ranks through grit and consistency. Over the years, Marcus skipped countless family dinners and holiday trips because work came first. He was the guy they could count on, always reliable, always there. He trained new hires, took on extra shifts when others called out, and never once complained. On paper, he's the dream employee. But then the company merged with a larger conglomerate. New leadership, new software, new priorities. Suddenly, the role Marcus had mastered was considered outdated. The new team saw automation as the future, not experience. So, without fanfare or even much resistance, Marcus was let go. No evidence, just a polite, "We're heading in a different direction." And just like that, 2 decades of service were reduced to a line in a spreadsheet. Now here's the kicker. Marcus wasn't let go because he failed. He was released because the business pivoted, and he didn't. That's the harsh lesson most people don't realize until it's too late. While we remain loyal to our jobs, the companies we work for remain loyal only to their goals. The longer you stay in one place thinking you're safe, the more vulnerable you become to shifts you can't control. It's not about demonizing employers. Businesses have every right to evolve, restructure, and make decisions for survival. The issue lies in the imbalance. We give our time, health, and sometimes our sense of identity to a company, assuming that devotion will buy us protection. But devotion is not a shield. It's a mindset that can blind us. When we confuse time served with security earned, we set ourselves up for disappointment. This is why so many people are caught off guard. They spend years mastering their job, but never expanding beyond it. They settle into routines that feel safe, but are actually traps. They ignore signs, the hiring of cheaper labor, the the silence around raises, the changing industry trends, because it's easier to believe things will just work out. But complacency has a cost, and it's often paid in moments of crisis. So what's the alternative? Start thinking like a free agent. You're not bound to one team or one playbook. Your skills, experience, and insight are valuable, not just to your current employer, but to others, to yourself, and potentially to an audience or market you haven't tapped into yet. The moment you start seeing your job as one of many income tools, not the income tool, everything changes. And hey, if you're still with me right now, that means you're someone who gets it. You're not the type to bury your head in the sand and hope everything stays the same. You're looking for insight, perspective, maybe even a bit of a wake-up call, and that's exactly what this content is here for. So if you're getting value out of this, take a second and subscribe to the channel. It helps us keep putting out content that challenges the status quo. Hit that like button if you've ever felt undervalued or blindsided in your job. And drop a comment. Share your experience or your thoughts. Someone out there needs to hear your story. Let's talk about one of the most dangerous lies we tell ourselves. This company cares about me. Now don't get twisted. Sure, your coworkers might be kind. Your supervisor may take an interest in your personal life. You may even have fond memories from the company retreat or that time your boss brought you coffee after a tough morning. But let's be brutally honest. Those moments, while genuine, are not safeguards. They're not contracts. They won't stand up when the budget tightens or when corporate strategy shifts. They're just good workplace relationships, and that's all. Many people end up hurt because they confuse workplace friendliness with job protection. They believe that being well-liked is the same as being secure. But when layoffs hit, being a team player doesn't grant you immunity. Companies can and will let go of people who've built real connections, who've shown dedication, who've been described as part of the family. Because when push comes to shove, it's not about who's loved, it's about who's necessary. And necessary can change overnight. That emotional attachment can become a silent trap. It keeps people from updating their resumes. It convinces them not to explore other offers. It whispers, "Don't rock the boat, you're safe here." But that sense of safety is a mirage, and by the time people realize it, they're often unprepared to pivot. They find themselves stuck in a system that no longer serves them, but they've stayed so long that leaving feels impossible. That's why some of the most competent, hardworking professionals find themselves blindsided and scrambling. They believe their commitment would be reciprocated. It rarely is. So here's the mindset shift. Treat your career the way smart investors treat their portfolios, with diversity and flexibility. Don't bank your entire future on a single employer. Build skills that transfer across industries. Develop projects outside of your 9 to 5. Learn how to monetize your expertise, right? Consult, teach, create. Whatever it is, start crafting your safety net before you need it. Not because you're disloyal, but because you're realistic. Financial independence doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of strategic choices made consistently over time. It's carving out space to grow in ways your employer doesn't control. It's making sure that if one stream dries up, another is flowing. That kind of self-reliance gives you leverage, the ability to say no, the power to walk away, and the comfort of knowing that your fate isn't tied to a single desk or department. And no, this doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow or distrusting every boss you've ever had. It means being awake. It means seeing your job as one part of your life, not the center of it. The moment you understand that your worth isn't measured by a paycheck or title, you begin to take your power back. You start living deliberately instead of reactively. You stop waiting for someone else to hand you security and start building it on your terms. The truth is, you don't have to live in constant fear of losing your job. If you stop relying on it to define your future, you can choose to build something more durable than a job title, something more resilient than a single paycheck. You can choose freedom, but here's the catch. Freedom isn't handed to you. It's built with intention, and it starts when you stop outsourcing your stability to someone else's system. Your employer pays you for your time, but only while it benefits them. The second your role costs more than it delivers, the relationship changes. That's business. That's the contract you signed. But you don't have to stay stuck in that contract forever. You can invest your time differently. You can invest it in building skills no one can take from you. You can build income streams that operate when you sleep. You can learn to sell, to create, to speak, to teach, to take the raw ingredients of your life and turn them into something sustainable, something yours. Every person watching this is capable of more than they've been led to believe. Maybe you've been told that a stable job is the end goal, that you should be grateful just to have one, that asking for more is selfish or unrealistic. But that mindset, it keeps people small. It keeps them obedient. It keeps them dependent on a system that sees them as temporary, even when they've been loyal for decades. The reality is, gratitude and ambition can coexist. You can be thankful for your current situation while still building your exit route. You can honor the opportunity and still prepare for your next chapter. Think about it like this. If you lost your job tomorrow, what would you do? Not emotionally, logistically. Would you panic? Or would you pivot? Would you scramble? Or would you activate a plan you've already put into place? That's the difference between surviving and thriving. That's the difference between living at the mercy of one company and standing in the power of your own design. There's a certain peace that comes from knowing you're not trapped. A confidence that shows up when you walk into work knowing that you choose to be there, not that you have to be. When your identity isn't tied to your role, you can say no to toxic demands, speak up when things don't feel right, and walk away if the environment no longer serves you. You're not dependent, you're deliberate. And as we wrap this up, here's a final truth. Job security is a myth. Personal security, though, that's real, and it's yours to build. Every skill you learn, every dollar you save, every connection you make, and every hustle you nurture brings you closer to it. So don't wait for your wake-up call to start. Let this video be it. Now, if this resonated with you, if you've ever been the one blindsided, underappreciated, or left scrambling, do something with that feeling. Subscribe, but not just with a click. Subscribe to yourself. Subscribe to the belief that you deserve more than survival. And while you're here, tell us your story. Leave a comment. Share how you broke free or how you plan to, because someone else is reading and your experience might be the exact message they need. This channel isn't just a voice, it's a community. And every time someone shares their truth, it creates a ripple. So let's create a space where we don't just react to what happens to us, we build what happens next.